Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Fire Up Your Heart, children of God. I'm not the best today. Lots of symptoms. I just call it the Havana. I don't know what else to call it because it's all the, like if you read the Havana, it's all of them. So we both were not well. We ended up not well, both of us yesterday. And then we pulled through. So what we're going to do right now, and I didn't practice this, so I might be calling the wrong number. Chances are they're going to tell me it's the FCC, federal something. We're going to try and I guess it would be an informal because they're going to insist that I fill it out write it out. And I was going to fib if we get a hold of someone. And I'm wondering how long I'll be put on hold. So we're going to use John's phone, so I'll just be radiating myself even more than what's already been occurring today. Oh, and I know it's super heavy. The dog's eyes, they look like they're just in this silent pain. There's just the only word I can come up with is anguish in their eyes. They're just suffering, and they can't tell me. And very disoriented, say that we're in the yard. Okay, long story short, we're going to give a call here, and I'm sure it won't go the best, so I'm going to do my best to be an adult. I'm putting my adult mask on if I do have what was either hidden or a form of Asperger's something or other. When I was little, I was always doing this. I got in trouble a lot. So I noticed my twitches now being more where I had more time alone. John just kind of let me be me. And I noticed with not having to be around those that were always complaining to me about touching my face or this when I'm stressed. I've caught myself doing actual twitches, and I do at least when we go out and stuff. I think I try not to do it. So the number I have for the FCC, it's something probably like federal, something with cell or complaint, something or other. But they're going to then say I need to find out who owns the towers, which they can probably do. The only other thing I'm not wanting to do over the phone with everyone is say roads in the area near me, but who cares anymore? There's no privacy. So I got a 1-888-225-5322 if I get disconnected. Now it said something about an ASL, but I don't know what that is. If that's just if you have, I might ask her. All right, so I wonder how long the hold will be, but mainly they're going to be pushing for me to fill out online.
Please, the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. To continue in English, press 1. Ha llamado a la Comisión Federal de Comunicaciones. Para continuar en español, presione 2. To continue, please listen closely as our menu options have recently changed. If you are calling about the Affordable Connectivity Program or the Emergency Broadband Benefit Program, press 6 to be connected to the support center for those programs. If you are calling to report a tower line outage or a safety of life issue involving interference, press 1. If you are calling about the licensing issues, such as applying for a new license, renewing a license, password resets to file an application, or issues related to spectrum auction, press 2. If you are a member of the news media, press 3. If you are calling about unwanted calls, to file a consumer complaint, or for all other calls, press 4. To hear these options again, press. Use the FCC's Consumer Center. Our hours of operation when you can speak with an agent are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If your issue involves unwanted calls, press 1. For all other issues, press 2. To hear this message again, press. If you would like to learn more about telecommunications issues or file a complaint online, log on to the FCC's Consumer Health Center at consumercomplaints.fcc.gov. Filing your complaint online is the quickest and most efficient way for you to submit your complaint. If you file a complaint online, You will be sent periodic status updates as well as notifications your complaint was received and served on your service provider. Press 9 to repeat this information. Press 8 to return to the previous menu. Press 0 to speak with an agent.
I don't think it's
Please
any
hold
good.
for
I'm
the next
already
available agent. For quality assurance, your call may be monitored and recorded.
I'm burned out with all this type of stuff because it's a waste of time.
All specialists are busy. Please stay on the line.
I'm just gonna paint it white. I decided to start with white. I'd have to do it anyways if I want the paint to stick right or whatever. Undercoat. I kept saying underlayment. I meant like, what did I mean? I don't know what I mean. Oh, we should have started timing how long. What do you guys think? They're not going to answer. What do you think? Is that what you think? That's what I think.
All specialists are busy. Please stay on the line.
Are they busy? Do you think they're... How busy do you think they are? Do you think they're busy? What are they busy doing? Do you guys want to hear when she starts... Because this is what's going to happen. They'll probably send the asylum people for me. Is she's going to deny that there would be symptoms for people. And then what I would technically have to do is go door to door and say, since these towers...
Good afternoon, you've reached the FCC. My name is Madison. How can I help you?
Hi, Madison. This is Heather. I'm calling from Southeast Michigan. We had just recently moved in February to this new location in Monroe County, Michigan. It's still in the county, but it's a smaller, like, part of, you know, we're in LaSalle, LA, capital SALLE. Do you need a zip code on that? I'm calling to report there's these, like, 3 towers. They're so close together. They're not even a mile apart. Now, I don't know if one or so would be inactive, but it just seems, like, super close. And I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna have to go like door to door and find out if other people have symptoms, but I have like a lot of symptoms from these towers. Like, I mean, if I did a list of the Havana, I would have almost every symptom daily, day in and day out. It affects our animals heavily. We were trying to keep chickens. They're all over the place, which chickens are like that. But what I'm trying to say is, how could this be legal? It's not healthy for any living human being, especially elderly, small children, animals, and people with disabilities or metal implants for injuries. God forbid if they were to have like something with their brain, like some sort of plate from accident or a severe trauma to the brain.
Okay. You would need to contact your local planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning?
Correct, to potentially get those moved.
Okay, they probably won't. I'm really shocked. Like, we hadn't seen the one because I was like, these symptoms, oh my God. Well, here the one's so close. And then there's like 3. And then there's not even, I don't even think you could say, oh, like, maybe you could say 1,000 people within like this area. I'm not sure exactly. It's not that big, this spot where we all are. So I would call the LaSalle, the smaller group, or the main township, probably, right? Monroe County.
They would be through the township.
Oh, yeah. I'm not one of their favorites, I don't think. Well, I will try, but how about this? Like, they don't really ever help. I can't think of any time this county has helped me, quite frankly. even with death threats and stuff. Who would I call like above them? So like I called you, but who else would be like, to just, I don't like to do the funny phone tag stuff with township. I mean, honestly, the last time they recommended something, as I said, we were getting death threats in the last neighborhood, and they told me to come to a public meeting with a bunch of people in the room. I said, does that seem safe when I know this is ex-police and stuff? Well, anyhow, that's just off-roading. So who would I call that's kind of they would give a reprimand to Monroe County Township? Or like at least check into why they're doing this to everyone out here?
You could try your attorney general.
Okay. They're pretty responsive, I guess. Is any of the government anymore, though? All right, you have a good day, Madison. You stay busy, okay?
Bye-bye.
Yeah. That was different. Oh, what can you say, Brett? Oh, jeez. Is she doing eating donuts now? Bonbons? Do they make those bonbons anymore? I used to make jokes about that all the time. They are good. They're good. They're little ice cream, like bonbons, It's yum yum. Like vanilla ice cream. And then this just very thin chocolate, on top. And this crunch, like, the frozen chocolate, like a chocolate bar, but they were little bonbons. All right, so now that we did that call and I did more of the talking and didn't get nowhere, that's all we're going to do for today. Yeah. Or should we call district's attorney together? I probably have it in a note, but we're already at 11 minutes. Actually, I'm impressed that Madison got a hold of me or let me get through. Thank you, Madison. That was super sweet. Not that Madison will ever see this video, but... Oh, look, I filled out for a WordPress, but I never followed through yet. I used to go on Quora and do horrible, no paragraph structure, nothing, just type away. Making half of it, not making no sense. Oh, I probably have that number in 500 places, but not in here. Not when I would want to get to it. All right. Okay, we want to thank him for getting us out of here. And his real estate company is exploding. Now, this might be a little strange what I did, like maybe if he was my kid, but I don't think I was old enough to have had like a pretend world. Maybe, just maybe, like a teenage pregnancy. So what we'll do is we'll just look at the back here. So what we have is Corey Welch got us out of where we were. Thank God. Thank God. Now, I would hate to report back to him about Al. I think Al's pulling himself together. Somebody, what they do is they send out whatever they send out about us. I probably think it's a little worse in most instances because the guilt and shame. Anyways, he is like a self-made, I would say probably almost close to a billionaire by now. I prayed and I said to him, I hope that you transform the real estate climate. Get these horrible liars out of here and try not to go down that road. Knock Howard Hanna out, knock them all out. And he studied law. And he was he's very, for the people, like, cares, compassionate. Somehow he was able to get through dealing with me. And, because over there, with the 5 feet on each side and the guys and the boom, but they missed, and then the explosion and the harassment day in and day out for 7 years. I was a complete wreck, frazzled beyond. Some of the neighbors after us had their own personal do device. It was just nonstop. And it was like a metal aluminum siding. It didn't matter. I couldn't even hide in the basement somewhere. Here, because the house is taller and it's brick, it's thick old brick, you see, you still have the roof. They don't matter. All they have to do is turn it up. I don't really get all of it. The fact that that's the part that's dumb, is that we didn't check the towers. Because I I saw myself in prison. I couldn't take it anymore. The one neighbor was flinging sticks at the siding right in front of me. He didn't know I was behind him. We had something with the utilities company, and I was out having to deal with them, and apparently Dave was too. I don't know what the deal was. I was going to try to find what degree he got off-roading here. Now we're doing this. So anyhow, it's EXP Realty. He is licensed for Ohio too. So Michigan, Ohio. Okay. His bachelor's degree in political science from Eastern Michigan University and his master's degree in public administration and management from Northern Michigan University. Corey obtained his real estate license in 2018 because he wanted to start his own business and be in control of his future, and he began working as an agent part-time. I don't know where I got law from. I thought there was something in there that maybe he was going to, or that I don't know, but it was more like he's into helping people, like, the underdogs, more or less. That was what he's involved in some volunteer stuff of that nature, and he's a dog lover. I don't know, where did I conjure up that? I swear it was something with law, or maybe it was something he was thinking about. Before getting into real estate, Corey worked full-time in the nonprofit sector doing marketing and fundraising for YMCA Community Action Agency, involved in anti-poverty initiatives. This is a very nice article, nicely done. I just was asking him what the gray was. He said it was just this corny thing, and I was like, no, like with all the houses, why are we having to do all the gray too? Like, what is that, just to help us be more comfortable with communism? And then all the cell towers are killing a lot of stuff and killing a lot of people and making them extremely ill and not all right. And so it's just like part of that. Like, and then will everyone, when it's all done and said, but there's still just enough stragglers to keep the machine running, will everyone just be carrying like oxygen tanks around? How are they gonna manufacture the oxygen? Where's she going? Just some off-roading ideas. Like, it's good to keep the brains going. You know what I mean? You got to keep the brain tick-a-tocking. You gotta. And the only way to do that is to do question answers and theories and ideas of what? To keep the brain going. You know what I mean? Even if it's not correct, it's just like to get the brain juices going. You know what I mean? I used to know the word for it because I took philosophy classes and stuff. I loved it. I loved philosophy. Philosophy, hands down, top 3 faves. I couldn't believe that a lot of the kids in my college classes, they were pissed. They hated it so bad. I was like thinking, this is like amazing. I mean, obviously some of the full circle thing, I was like, I do that. So that means I'm a philosopher. I didn't know. Woo! All right, so, but, there was the things, though, with, like, Socrates. There was a couple others where, like, you're just on this big, long journey, but then it circled right back around to the original. Analysis classes, stuff like that. Well, I don't know. I guess I probably just thought I shouldn't be calling up there no more because I was getting pretty feisty. Not aggressive threats, just what the ... Yeah. I mean, thank God for ministers that I listen to. We're all in this one little compartment, like, thank God they can just kind of keep reverberating, because that's what us humans need, quite frankly. We can call it brainwashing, and it is somewhat that. AA's brainwashing. It helps people stay sober. At least gets them dried out sometimes. For periods of time. I was dried out many a times with the assistance of AA. I think it was more God, because most meetings I found to be highly triggering to go get drunk again, but Because you're in there with a lot of, like, at least in our county, most of the men were perpetrators. Okay. Quite frankly. I mean, the vast majority, by hands down, perpetrators, snatchers. And I wasn't going to become a member. And like I dragged my heels. I finally got a home group. I had been attending a group for probably on and off here and there several years. And lo and behold, the Grandpa LeBeau found me with some dude. He was in there just calling me these horrible names, just the worst that you can call a woman, like across the church. It's a basement where, like, a smaller one, not huge. It was substantial. You could have a good gathering. But I mean, it was, we'd have the meeting more over. We weren't just filling that one all the time. And so we'll say 5-6 tables away from me with the space in between. Just degrading me. This was my home group. They didn't care. They said that they couldn't, if a drunk wants help, that they can stay. I'm like, so he can come in and berate me and screaming slander across the room, follow me home. And that's okay. This is my home group, but you can't ask him to find another meeting. And he drove clear across the county to come do this today. And then our stuff really escalated again at the double wide. Well, this was interesting today. So I don't know where I was getting that. I'm a little alarmed that I misinterpreted something there. Maybe I didn't. Maybe Corey did say that he was thinking about law, and then he ended up more in another realm. I don't know. Maybe that's something he told me. I don't have the number, and you know what? Do I even waste my time calling the district's attorney? Things somewhat settled down for us. I didn't finish my crying plea for America to you guys. It's no way to start the day, and it's too early to get some relief. I'm not gonna say that anymore. It's pretty much just everything in a nutshell. I believe I wrote it before 2015, but I could be wrong on that. So, last tobacco with the Dracabacalos, the Druapacalos. I sometimes think Eric's paranoia must have he had it through the roof. They had him tracking my stuff all the time. And so he probably tracks my blog talk, or I told him I had my blog talk, and then that one year. And I think that, like, it was just like this. He was just nearly in a perpetual state of panic of me exposing lies and abuse and stuff like that. So this is interesting today. What are we going to do right now? Let's do something fun. For some reason, the chickens and turkeys, I was just talking to them like they were people today. And I was like, do you know that you guys make this pretty difficult? Granted, if we didn't have the dogs, it would kind of be like heaven with the fowl. Not with the turkeys, because they're just not nice to them. We had another huge storm. It was literally like tsunami style. I mean, I may not know my tsunamis because I don't live near them, or stuff looks like it's potentially sideways, but I mean, for me up here, not in true tsunami zones, it was pretty alarming because we're not on the lake. So I would be concerned to look up how the lake communities fared, the marinas and stuff. I don't know. I don't have like a count on if I can say that it's marinas. I know we don't have a boat, and that we probably should have something like fun like that. I don't even know if me and John really know how to have fun, because the fact that we were out in the mini and it looked like the carryout we were at, we know the owner pretty well. I mean, we're not kicking it and stuff. Just we're familiar, obviously. He's used to our money. Okay, so it was, I think, the first time in my life that we were out, and I'm like, there's a storm coming, right? But he wanted to get some stuff, and And I'm like, it's like, it could come at any time. You know what I mean? And we're going and you see the lights, like, we get to the store and it's not that far away. But I'm like, what are we going to do if we get there? And then, like, what are we going to do? I just had that feeling. And, it was funny to see, too. You're entertained in a strange way. I think it's an adrenaline junkie. I've got problems. I'm like, so this is the group in town. We're all nuts. Like, we're willing to just go out in the tsunami weather for what? Some ice cream and Coca-Cola or whatever. And I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, like, because there wasn't that many of us out like dumbasses. Or it was the same situation. You got out and you're in it and it's like, what are you going to do? Well, so we're in the store with him and he's like, the lights, it's like we're getting, like, there's like a weird siren outside and I'm like, and then the lights are like twinkling like on and off and I'm like making a joke with the one of the workers owner. I don't think he's the owner, but he's one of the workers. And I think there's like 3 or 4 main guys that run the spot. So and then the main owner and people are still coming in a little bit. And I'm like really shocked. I'm like, whoa, we're like the diehards or whatever. So we let everyone go ahead because we got like some other random stuff. People do, they like to see what we're buying. They do. And so it was a strange one. It was like 2 cans of dog food. I put it in with the dry, just to bump up the protein. And, like a random little fire log starter. Like we've got, I don't want to say how many of these, but indoor, outdoor. So, and what you'd want to do is, if you do get these sometimes, is put them in something like a sealed bucket, stuff like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to get stuck here with you. That's not something you want to happen. So he's wanting the lights to completely go off. We're looking outside. It's like sideways rain. The wind is horrible. I'm like, the Mini Cooper's going to fly away. No, they're actually really heavy. And actually, Mini Coopers are a really good car. I don't know if they're starting to not make them as well. Ours is a bit older. I know it's for sure over 4 years old. It was 4 when we got it. So now it's up to 8 or so. Something like that. It came from, I think, from Texas, as far as we know. And I'm like, what do we do? Do we just sit here? But that was when I saw that side. Like, I wanted to think that John and I aren't both kind of like daring or maybe a little bit of adrenaline junkies to some degree. Like that we're just out ha-haing and having a good time in the tsunami type style. It came through quick and left. No, it didn't, because when we got home, it was really wild. We stayed in the car. I'm like, so we really are we're not all right. You know what I mean? Like, if this wasn't, like, fun, like, to be out in the Mini with all of our trees, like, going wild. And meantime, the tent, what happened to the tent? I think it got ripped up. The wind got so strong. It was so strong it knocked over these pallet pieces over here that we were using as like a frame thing to do other fencing to put the chicken wire on to get it onto the pallets, and these very huge long pallets. And I'm like, yeah, this is a real wake up call for me. Is we both, I mean, is it chaotic lovers or just our idea? Because, I mean, can you say that someone that likes to skydive or something, are they addicted to chaos and scary? I don't know. We all just run a little bit different. But to think probably some of the ones that I came from, she's probably sitting in the basement. If she can get down there. If she's even walking. I don't know what they're doing really, but should have been calling and getting in the basement, and then I'm freaking out. I used to freak out a lot more I don't know what's transpired. I really think it was the gunshot and then the explosion, and then you just you just see life as this is literally all we have, like right now. Hips resting, the kitchen needs to be spiffed up. Pizza maker John was out last night again. And it's not super bad. It's just so small. I mean, it wouldn't take much. Is a couple dishes, and it's you gotta get it in order. So wow, this is different. 30 minutes of this. What is this exactly? I don't know. So I'm gonna go.